Bitcoin is breaking through resistance. Shorts have been liquidated. Now, if you checked out your portfolio, your crypto portfolio, you might have noticed it is likely up as many altcoins are also up against the US dollar. But there is evidence that the pump has been astroturfed. By astroturf, we mean artificially caused by mostly one man. We'll talk about what he did and why, and the risky strategy he is taking. And we will also talk about whether or not it even matters if this pump was artificial. And did this artificial pump just kick off the next leg of the bull run? Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain. If you like money in crypto and you're looking for a real investor take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video and subscribing with the all notifications bell enabled. Do note I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself, sharing with you how I think about the crypto market and specific cryptos I like. And I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about crypto projects I don't believe in. I am an investor myself. Special thanks to our Patreon members. We do have private Discord there. Patreon members get access to. There's a link below to our Patreon if it's of interest to you. It is a closed group, so there's even more I can discuss there. If you join us, you'll see what I'm talking about when you join. Also, at the beginning, it often says that there is sponsored content on this. This is because of our strategic relationship with Wanchain, who have been good to us, and they give us Wanchain every month to give away to the audience, and we'll be giving away some today. Now, make it rain on that like button and strap in for the show. Let's welcome our producer, D Money.
Hey, what's up, Jay? How's it going today, man?
Fantastic.
Me too. It's good to see some of our friends in the audience already. 3 Doritos later, too. What's up, buddy? I love hello, friends, every time. Timothy Franklin's here. Our buddy Chris Ashby, 9. Our buddy from Telegram, one of our good friends, Dougie Collinson's here. So yeah, what's up, guys? Happy Monday to everyone. How was your weekend, man?
Fantastic. It went by so fast as they frequently do.
Yeah, sure.
Had some good family time, had some other time. Yeah, it was just nice to have a good, solid weekend. And it was nice to see some price action going a little bit bullish. So I had to do some digging into why so that we could talk about it today. Because been big fans I'm a big believer that we still have another leg of the bull run coming.
Sure. Well, when I saw, just frankly, like the title of the show today, I was like, oh boy, like I got to figure out what Rain knows that I don't. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happened exactly. Should we kick it off here?
Let's get started, yeah.
All right.
Join me, Rainmakers. So we covered Friday of last week in our live stream, Janet Yellen and the U.S. regulators seeming about face on Bitcoin and crypto. If you missed that episode and Wednesday's episode where we talked about the domino stacking up for another massive run, those are helpful to review so you can see what is lining up to make a potential huge run happen. Now, many people want to know, is there a massive run that is going to happen in the coming months? And it seems at this point, both fundamentally and technical analysis, it's lining up for exactly that. But what did we just see over the past few days with Bitcoin breaking some strong resistance? Did that kick off this leg of the bull run? Or is there another point of max pain coming first? Let's look at what really happened and what caused it. Perhaps because of Do Kwon's public buying of Bitcoin from the Terra Luna Foundation up to 10 billion. They're talking about buying, and they've been buying very publicly. Bitcoin's pumped, and this pump probably an AstroTurf pump specifically related to that. Now, if you think about it, when you announce you're going to be buying up to 10 billion worth of Bitcoin, that would cause people to front run you, or to, another way of saying that, buy immediately so that they can sell later at a higher price. So it caused more buying than just what they were doing. And this in turn caused the price to rise, which caused a short squeeze, which means that those that were short have to buy Bitcoin to close their position. Or if it goes all the way and gets liquidated, that then liquidation causes the purchase of Bitcoin in order to cover their position, which further drives up the price, and it's called a short squeeze. And isn't that exactly what we saw? So let me show on the charts here, and let me share my screen. Taking a look at this, I mean, look at this massive pump. It came up to the resistance point here at 45,000. That is a massive resistance point. Here we're on the hourly. Take a look at the daily. And this resistance point that we broke through was pretty solid. Notice it came up several times. Here, didn't even get to it, retraced, came up and retraced. And you could even move this line down right to where the closes kept happening. So notice the first time it came up here. When it broke through here, see, it came up to that higher point once here, came back down, and then it just went wham, all the way up to this resistance point here, which goes back quite a ways. We could have extended this farther back, but do you see how strong this resistance point is? And it's all the way up to that. I think I moved that just a touch when I was, there we go. That's a big run and very, very quick. And this was because a lot of shorts were liquidated. In fact, let me share with you, yes, 140 million in Bitcoin shorts liquidated as crypto market cap hits 2.1 trillion. Amid a wider rally in crypto markets, altcoins, Filecoin, and Internet Computer have seen double-digit gains. So that's just some pumping of those. But you see that, look at that, 140 million in Bitcoin shorts were liquidated because of this pump. See the short squeeze that caused this? Now, just because it was AstroTurf, does it matter in a negative way? It might. And this kind of thing really hasn't happened since Elon Musk made his Bitcoin announcements, or we could even call them pronouncements, so verbal a year ago. However, does Do Kwon have the visibility outside of the crypto space that Elon Musk does, or the clout at this point? It's fair to say that some of you don't even know who Do Kwon is yet, because unless you follow Terra Luna, you might not even recognize his name. But he is the founder of Terra Luna, which has been wildly successful. He's the one we talked about just a week ago, who first made $1 million bet that Luna's price will be higher in a year from now, and then they upped it to 10 million. So Do Kwon does know how to make the news, and clearly a huge bull. He is also doing something interesting in that he is loading his treasury for the UST stablecoin as he moves it onto a Bitcoin standard. Now, in my mind, this is brilliant. But how this works out, we actually have no pattern to look at. But for my own guesses as to the impact, I don't know other than rampant speculation on my end that this bodes very well for the Terra Luna ecosystem and their stablecoin UST. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the Terra Luna ecosystem, let me share with you some about it. Now, I'm bullish on the ecosystem, though I'm not buying more Luna at these prices, although I'm watching very carefully this ecosystem. And I'll tell you why in a bit. So let me share with you the TerraStation wallet, what it lets you do and how it works, as well as the Anchor protocol that works with it. So let me just share over to my screen. This is the TerraStation wallet. And if you think about it, think about like MetaMask for the Terra Luna ecosystem, except you can have this wallet on your computer. You can also have a browser extension for it, like what you used to with MetaMask. But this is the actual wallet. So you'll see here that this is the wallet and shows how much funds are in it and different things. Shows I have some STT. That is Star Terra's token. That is a launch pad on the Terra Luna ecosystem. You can also stake. Now, I stake mine on the Orion.money. So you'll see, like here, I have 706 Luna staked. And I bought these down when Luna, retraced after the big pump. And in July, it retraced all the way around the $6 mark. And that's when I loaded up on some Luna. And it was slightly under 700. I've just continued adding or redelegating some of my staking rewards to increase that position, as well as taking some out as Luna's price has gotten pretty crazy. Now, is it going to go up from here over the next year? Well, Do Kwon thinks so. Me, I like buying cheap. And when it was $6 last July, and now it's trading at almost $100, I'm putting my additional capital into other things, but I am still holding a lot of this. Now, taking it out or undelegating takes like 28 days. So even though the prices are way up, normally I would be taking profits at this point, not buying more, but taking profits. I don't know where the price will be in 28 days. So I'm happy just leaving a lot of it there and staking. You can see right here, I just claimed a couple days ago, but you can see some rewards have built up so that if I were to withdraw rewards, it would allow me to withdraw. It looks like I have 0.66 Luna and stuff that I can withdraw these rewards and enter my password there. It's a really, really good app. It also is really cool because it allows you to interact if you get the browser extension with Anchor Protocol. So this is a little bit of background on Do Kwon by sharing with you his creation Terra Luna, which has been wildly successful. In fact, if we were to pull up CoinGecko, let me just show you how high their token has gone. Here, so if you've never heard of him, you probably have heard of his brainchild or the Terra Luna ecosystem, which is number 9 on CoinGecko right now. So wildly successful project. Now, we'll talk why I paid so attention to Terra Luna and stuff in a bit. And so the question is whether this kicks off the massive bull run that I expect to happen. I don't know. I do think it's positive. It will get some attention. But the part of me that's been in the space for a long time thinks, well, we haven't hit the point of max pain. And sometimes, as Paul, if you check out our Thursday videos, he's a price analysis expert and has been doing it for 30 years. He calls it a stake in the ground, which is a strong wick down right before a massive pump. We've kind of had one, but we haven't had a massive one. And so I'm kind of expecting something like that. Now, you could say that this was a stake in the ground here. Usually you get a strong dip down. You get some bullishness, and then all of a sudden it dashes massively, some hopes, and then it takes off. So we will see if that happens. If it does, that's okay. I'm prepared for it, and I wanted to bring it up to you in the audience to prepare for it just in case. So look at this right before it ran up, right? So it started to get bullish. Bam, stake in the ground, taking off. You'll see that even here, right? So before this massive run, look at that. Looking bullish, bam, stake in the ground, then taking off. So if that happens here, that's okay. You don't need to turn bearish. You're prepared for it. Does it mean that a massive leg of the bull run isn't coming if that happens? No, it usually means that it is going to come. So be prepared if this turns around and goes down to some cheaper prices that you're just fine. Now, what has been on my mind lately is I'm an investor, right? So I often think during time frames. You might call me a swing trade investor and also a contrarian investor. I like to go against the market. I like to buy when a lot of people are dumping, and I like to sell when a lot of people are buying. So one of the things I think about is in the future and how the future is going to play out. And Anchor Protocol and Terra is frequently on my mind because Anchor Protocol allows you to, so if you go to Anchor Protocol, you can open up the web app and then you can link your TerraStation wallet there. And you can see I have total deposit just over 1,000 in their stablecoin. And this is more just to test it out and make sure I understand and how it's working, because this is what I am interested in. I do think a major leg of the bull run is coming. And on Anchor, you can earn close to 20% returns on your UST stablecoin at present, as well as you can get some random Anchor token airdrops for using the app. And what will happen if you connect this up is every once in a while you get this little claim button, and every time it drops me like 2.1 Anchor protocol tokens. And they've been varying between $2 to $5 a piece. And so I've just been, over the past couple months as I've been trying this out, it's been nice just harvesting some of those Anchor tokens that they've been giving me just for using the platform. As you can see, as percentage of my portfolio, this isn't a lot. To some, this will be a lot, but this is mainly to test it out in preparation for the massive leg of the bull run that's coming. Now, personal decisions that I'm making when that massive run comes is that I'll be taking profits out and putting them on the side. Now, I didn't do that in 2017. I held all my altcoins. And so my portfolio that went from about 15,000 went to about 165,000, even though I was a little bit late to the bull run. But then it came all the way down to about 3,000. So this bull run, I'm not making the same decision to hold all my altcoins through. I'll be taking profit. But I've been asking myself as I take profits, where do I put those? And if I'm correct, I'll be taking some big profits out, and I want to put them into stables or even one additional thing that I'll show you. Now, if you're new to the channel because you want to know what Bitcoin will do and you saw this title and you're like, I want to see what he has to say about it, perhaps you will check out some of my other videos to see more on what I believe is coming in the next number of months. My background is as an investor. I've only been in crypto for 4 years, which isn't a truly long time. Prior to crypto, I was an investor for 20 years, and I like to look at cycles. I like to buy low and sell high, and that's essentially what I do. And I position myself in crypto for that. But know that if and when a massive leg of the bull run comes, like I predict it will, I'm going to be taking out massive profits. I'm going to roll them into a few different places, including Anchor Protocol. But another one that I'm very bullish on is Freeway token. And I've accumulated about 70,000 worth of this token, which adds up to like 4.6 million Freeway tokens over the past number of months as it's been dancing below and above 1 cent. Now, why am I so bullish on this one? Well, this is a very interesting platform. You can see here it went all the way to 2.5 cents. Here almost up to 2 cents. And it seems to have this floor right around 0.5 cent. And a lot of the floor only hits about 0.7 cents. Why am I so bullish on this one? Well, I'm bullish on this one because, like Anchor Protocol, it's one of those places that I'm looking to put some of my funds. But if you're not familiar with this platform, do you know that it's paying, the returns are up to about 43% annualized on their stable coins? So if you go to their website, and we do have a link below that you can link right on the video. So you follow that link, that's our referral link. Let me just share with you what has my interest about this. Earn 20% or more annual supercharger staking rewards. Now you can just earn 20% rewards by, you can send some stable coins. If you're anywhere but the US, you can actually send your Freeway token directly to it. You can then send your stable coins to it. If you're in the US, you can't send your Freeway tokens directly to it. You have to send stable coins in and buy the Freeway tokens on the platform, even if you already hold some Freeway tokens. And they do that for US regulatory compliance, because the US regulatory compliance is a little bit unclear at present. So they're just being extra cautious. But why would you need Freeway tokens? Well, if you have Freeway tokens on there and then you put some funds into what they call their stablecoin supercharger. So let's say I put $100,000 into their stablecoin supercharger, but I hold no Freeway tokens, I'll get 20% returns, which is great. That's what Anchor Protocol is doing. But if I fully unlock the supercharger by having some Freeway tokens staked in there in excess of 5%, then that can fully unlock. So I can earn 30 and even all the way to 43% annually returns on those stable coins. So do you see why I'm interested in this protocol for my funds? Now, if you follow the channel publicly, I'm going to make a very big deposit down the road as I'm taking profits out of this. And I'll show you. I'll show you what it looks like and how much funds I move into there, so you can see that I believe it. Now, is there a risk behind this? There's always a risk, right? There's always a risk. And I do know there are several very smart crypto investors behind the scenes that are involved in the crypto space, from building massive projects and other things, that also have massive holdings of their token and position themselves not only on the speculation that the token will do amazing, but also for the really good returns on the platform like me. I do think there is a massive run coming, but if it happens and you don't take profits, you'll learn why taking profits is so important. But if you do take the profits, where are you going to put them? I'm going to put some in Anchor Protocol, but also a lot of them in Freeway's platform. Again, there's a referral for the Freeway. If you're interested, you don't have to use my referral. You can just go through Freeway here and then click on Aubit.io. That's okay. It does help support the channel if you use those. If you don't want to, that's how you would easily get to it. Now, I just want to give my frequent viewers an update. I had considered cashing out up to 100% in stablecoins during the pump, but I'm leaning towards cashing out some to the Bitcoin supercharger, as it's paying 20% return in Bitcoin year over year. And I'm looking at what the US is doing with their own dollar. And it's not just inflation, it is literally currency devaluation going on there. And so even though there's usually a big retracement, gosh, I just a little bit concerned not to still be holding a lot still in Bitcoin. And if I'm going to be holding some in Bitcoin, why not have it in a place that can pay me about 20% annualized return on my Bitcoin, right? So I'll probably be rolling some into the Bitcoin supercharger on Aubit's platform as well. So if you haven't seen my other coverage on the Freeway token, their platform, just know that it is a risk, as you never know what could go wrong, which is why I'm not putting all my funds here. It's hard to know because it is hard not to put all my funds there because the returns are so high. But what do they say about putting all your eggs in one basket? I have had a small amount of USD in their supercharger and is doing just what they said it would do, and has allowed me to dip my toe in the past 6 months as I prepared for it, just like I have with Anchor Protocol, like I showed you. Now, what are your thoughts in the audience? I have a few questions for you in the audience. Do you think that we still have a massive leg of the bull run coming? I know it's looked a little bit more bullish the 3 weeks, and we've got a lot of confirmation in a lot of ways, especially if you saw my video on the dominoes lining up for this. But do you think it's still coming? There are plenty that think, no, we're in for a bigger bear market and another leg of the bull run won't come for 18 or 24 months. So I'm curious to hear if you agree with me that do you think that this is coming or not? And there's no wrong answers here. And if so, if you believe that there's another leg of the bull run, are you going to take profits out, or are you just going to hold for the next 5 years? And it's not that holding for the next 5 years is a bad strategy. You just have to realize that there will be some pain points in the middle. And though you'll be tempted to sell, don't give up your positions at the bottom. So for those of you who are planning to take profits, where are you considering holding during that time? Are you considering holding in some passive income returns like Celsius, which pays decently? I've used them a lot in the past and I trust them highly. We're going to use Anchor Protocol, which is newer. And it's always a concern that their 20%, that their treasury could fail, and that then they lower it significantly down to what, like Celsius and other programs play for. Are you looking at the Freeway token? I know a lot of the audience has followed Freeway as well. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And while you're putting your thoughts in there, D, what comments have you noticed as I've been talking?
Well, before we get into what you answer, or the question that you just asked about the bull run, Chris Ashby made a comment earlier that caught my eye. He said the algorithmic stablecoin scares me, though. Been bitten by that before. So he's talking about Terra Luna's UST, and I wonder if you can explain to me, because I frankly don't know. I don't understand what the difference between an algorithmic stablecoin is versus like standard USDT or whatever.
So the difficulty with stablecoins is how do you keep the peg to $1, right? So if all of a sudden a whole bunch of people are selling the stablecoins, then it should drop the price of it. So how do you then make it attractive enough so that people want to buy it in some way to keep the price pegged at $1? It's a difficult problem, right? And so the solution they use Luna with this, that you can burn Luna in order to get the stable coin at the valuation. So say Luna is trading for $100. You can burn your Luna and you can get 100 UST. So what happens if the price drops, it does make it more attractive. You would actually get more than 100 UST. Say your Luna is worth $100. Or Luna is exactly at $100. And let's say the price drops on UST and it goes to like 93 cents. So somebody burning one Luna, which is worth $100, they would actually get more than 100 UST, which is a mechanism to create demand to buy it to return its price to the peg at $1. That's my understanding of how it works. So, and that's why they call it algorithmic.
Yeah, Doctor of Stuff chimed in. He says the algo stablecoin tries to issue more stablecoins when the price goes higher and buys it back and burns when the price is below $1. So
yeah, so they have certain algorithms that are set up to help this, as well as some economic incentives to try to keep the price pegged to $1. And it was a huge scare just like 2 months ago, and it caused Luna's price to go down from its highs of like $105 down to about $50, because their treasury for Anchor Protocol was running out of funds to keep paying the 20%. So a lot of people were getting worried about that, and they were selling their Luna as well as their stablecoin UST, because they were concerned about that. And it was a concern that it would break the peg. And if it breaks the peg, then people by a lot, then people start to lose faith in it, right? And then they start to flee a boat that they feel is failing. And so it was a massive concern, and it held up really well. The foundation behind it recapitalized the fund that's paying out the almost 20% interest. And so it restabilized it, and the price has gone back up almost to $100 on Luna since then. But it is a concern. It could happen. And then it could become a lot of the algorithmic stablecoins that have come out over the last 4 years have almost completely evaporated, even though they did well for, say, a couple months, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. And then they just crashed and burned. Now, Terra Luna is not new. It's been around for quite a while. Let me see what kind of length we can get here. Just on the trading chart, it'll give us some dates. So here we go. We have it May 2019, right?
Yeah.
So this was an amazing time to buy. You could have picked it up for 20 cents. This was not a bad time to buy because it's done great since then. Is this a good time to buy? I don't chase boats that I missed, right? So there are plenty of things that haven't pumped. Will it do well from here? Possibly, maybe even probably, but I just don't chase boats that I missed, right? I've been loading up on this while it's cheap, right? And this is what, if you really look at what this chart looked like for a long time, and you just go say here to here, that's kind of what Freeway tokens look like, right? And it hasn't had this massive, massive pump after. And that's because Freeway token has some concerns with it too. Like, they pay out such great rewards, and if they're what happens if supposedly they're leasing a quant trading algorithm from a very successful trading company, and there is one that's been doing like 65% returns with their quant trading algorithm in the stock and other markets for the past 20 years, but they won't confirm if that's the one they have it leased from, because they say they have an NDA as far as who they're leasing from. So we don't know for sure if it is that one, but we do know that there is one that has been performing good enough that could make this whole ecosystem work. So it's a little bit of a risk in that we don't know for sure. And I've talked to the founders and I've talked to team members from this platform, and they hint that that's the case. But I can't say that I know that it's the case, but I feel comfortable enough taking this risk that I have about, $72,000 worth of Freeway token, US dollars worth of Freeway token presently, because I've just been accumulating it while it's down, because I expect that as more people come in and use this platform, it's going to do really well. And we have been seeing tens of millions coming into it over the past few months. And if that continues or even increases from here, then a Freeway token is bound to really spike up. And that's a bet that I'm taking.
Yeah, well, I mean, you said about Luna, you're like, could it go, could it do better? Yeah, like it could, right? But it's already at $100. Like, it's not gonna, you're talking about buying it at 20 cents or 64 cents. I mean, it's 300, 400x from there. Like, so even if it does continue to do well, I mean, it has nowhere near the potential of Freeway token. Yeah.
Yeah, if you had bought it way back here, right, 20 or 30 cents, I loaded in at $6 because I missed this pump, right? And I saw it go to here and I was like, well, by the time I did research on it, I was like, man, that's really solid. I just don't chase green candles. So when it went from over $20 and pulled back to $6, I was like, okay, this is my entry point. And a lot of people were concerned, and it's like the whole market was down in June and July. And so I rolled the dice on it and thought, this is a good enough pullback. It happened to be right near the bottom. Unfortunately for me, not right at the bottom, because it went even cheaper for a few days. And then, it's done well since then. But that's how it goes in the crypto space. I like to make bets for longer periods of time, and I try to look for projects with solid fundamentals. I want to give the audience some background on who Do Kwon is, because you might not be familiar with him. You might not even be familiar with Terra Luna. So it merited some coverage on the project, what it's about. Even though I really like the token, I no way would I buy more personally at $100. And it might just be because I'm jaded because this price, but I just don't chase these kind of things. I look for, these are what I call large green candles, and it could continue going parabolic and go to several $100s. But I tend to make bets where it looks like it's earlier in the pump. And so that's looking for. We throw in a couple things that we cover once in a while, segments. I call them the rain is always right segment, even though I'm not actually always right. I'm almost always right. And we covered Jurassic Punks, and there were Jurassic Punks minting the other day. And let me pull this up. These sold out way fast. Actually, it sold out within a few hours of our live stream, and they still had about 2,000 or 3,000 left that available for those that were interested and wanted to mint. Now, they were going for 0.1 ETH each, and they completely sold out. And you can see the price is actually up 50%. It was up 80%. So I want to throw this in the rain is always right segment. These are an NFT project that also will give you the 3D files for these 3D Jurassic Punks. And there's a lot of cool things happening. They haven't yet done the reveal. So this is what you get if you have it. You just see some generalized thing. You have no idea what traits or attributes you're going to get. Now, is it worth FOMOing in at this price? Truthfully, I don't know. I really liked it at the mint price. I like this project as I feel the team is strong, their vision is strong, and their connections are strong. But if NFTs trade sideways for a while, it's hard to tell what the price will do in the short term. Remember, it was up 80%, and it's retraced to a 40% or 45% gain from the initial mint price. However, personally, I haven't sold any to take some profits off the table as the reveal has not happened. And so any one of these, of the ones I bought, could be a rare one, and I expect the future price to be higher than the present price. So I'm just holding it for now, but did buy multiple so I could take profits if they go through another solid pump. Want to get caught up on comments and just see what everyone's thoughts were. MM Calistenia says, excuse me, Rain, how do you know Freeway is able to give such returns? Well, I talked about that, right? They use supposedly a quant algorithm trading thing where they take the funds that you put in and they're trading it in the background for, according to them, upwards of 65% returns annually, which allows them to pay up to 43% returns to you and still be very profitable. Now, can I say we know that that's exactly what happens? No. That's why there's some risk. If I knew that 100%, I would have 6 times the position in Freeway token that I have now, and I wouldn't even be messing with Anchor Protocol at all, because why would I do just a 19.5% when I had 43% available to me, right? Well, that's the risk you take with putting all your eggs in one basket, and I can't say I know those things. I just strongly suspect they're true, but I don't know them, and that's why I'll only be putting maybe 25 to 35% of my portfolio into Aubit's platform. Great question. Okay, Trunk stablecoin on Binance Smart Chain, cookies and crypto. I'm not going to look over at Trunk stablecoin right now. I hope that's okay, but yeah, I just don't want to go over there right now. 3 Doritos later, 2 Nexo is insured. Yes, they are. The fact that there's 175 billion in stablecoins confuses me. That was great points you make there. So yeah, there's a recent chart going around showing like how many stablecoins in USDT, USDC, UST, and all these different stablecoins, and how there could be so much in stablecoins, which means people have traded their Bitcoin and other assets and even US dollars to buy those. Now, different stablecoins are different. Like USDT is also called Tether. And supposedly they have that back, that if you bought that, say you sent Bitcoin to get Tether, supposedly they have that backed in a 1-to-1 ratio. But there's lots of reasons to believe that is not the case, and that they might only be still holding a third of those assets, which makes Tether a concern as a stablecoin. It might crumble at some point. USDC is a centralized entity that's backing that people have a lot of faith in. I use USDC a lot. So yeah, stablecoins, the concern with stablecoins is it to end up with a problem like we have with fiat currency, where those that are supposed to be backing it, they misallocate some funds or misuse those funds, or there's other problems that happen. And then if you go to cash in your stablecoins at some point, there's not enough assets to cover it. Isn't that one of the problems? So there's many different solutions for this technology, all through code or some kind of centralized agency, and it's not clear how who is going to be the winner. Now, some big countries like China and the US are working towards their own central bank digital currencies, and so as they get closer to that, I mean, China is already mostly there. They're kind of frowning on stablecoins usage, as then it competes with their thing. So they'll probably ban any stable coins there if they haven't already. And then who knows if the US will try that. China's, supposedly a communist country. I would make the argument that it's gone more socialistic than communist the last 30 years. But they are a command and control type country. And so they can make whatever edicts they want. In the US, the politicians are bound by votes, right? And so if a politician makes an unpopular decision, they can be kicked out of office or unelected coming up. And so we'll see what kind of decision the U.S. make on stablecoins. Now, anything else in there? Hey, Rain, is Mina the new platform coin you're looking at for the bigger gains compared to Luna? Mina, by Mina, are you talking about the... I'm not 100% clear what he's referring to. Mina isn't on my radar yet. They're hybrid. Okay, just checking out some more of the comments. Cookies and Crypto says we'll check out Freeway. Yeah, Dougie Collinson says, absolutely, it's coming in full force. I will be taking profits along the way and using Aubit to unload all my profits into stables. I feel Aubit is safe, and Aubit Prime is regulated too. Aubit did buy a regulated brokerage somewhere in the EU. I don't remember which country, but they did that to have an institutional access to institutional funds. They also made some changes on the tokenomics. It used to be that you had to hold 20% of the value of your portfolio in Freeway token or to fully unlock the supercharger. They did make it so that you could still get 20% returns without any Freeway token at all. And they specifically did that to be institutional friendly, because Freeway token could always, if altcoins are considered securities, then a lot of institutions aren't going to be able to hold Freeway token, and just the regulatory risk there. So institutions don't want to have to buy something like Freeway token. They have to get board approval. There's all kinds of hurdles in the way for that. And so they don't mind a 20% return. So they specifically changed that, from what I've heard, to be more institutional friendly. And so that to then unlock the additional, you just actually have to then hold 5% of your total value. So if I have $1 million in, say, US, the stable coins, the US dollar stable coin, I just need to hold $50,000 worth of Freeway token to fully unlock the supercharger, or that's my understanding with the change in that they made recently. So just 50,000 worth of Freeway token on the platform staked, as well as they just introduced staking rewards. So if you have Freeway token, you move it over to the platform, stake it, you actually get some staking rewards on your Freeway token too, which is something I'm really excited that they did. What else? Yeah, 3 Doritos layer 2 talking about Nexo is insured, no smart contract risk, very hard to hack. It's a pretty good platform. I'm bullish on Nexo as well.
Gut back to nature says, I feel that is coming in response to your question about the bull run, but not going to be euphoria blow off top. Like he says, I hope I'm wrong. But what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do think that we don't have a lot of history on Bitcoin. It's only been around since 2009. So every massive run like 2013, the run that happens after the halving, we did see a blow off top. Maybe this one will be different and we won't see it, but I think we will, just because of human behavior. And we even saw like a blow off top in March, but because it was so early, it didn't go as far. And so last March, my portfolio went crazy during that time, and it's pulled back to retraces some of the gains I made, but still not as cheap as it was by far. And so we had this early pump in the cycle last March. But if you look back at the 2013 cycle, it did the same thing, that they had an early spring pump followed by a much bigger pump later in the year. Now, there seems to be a lot of evidence that the cycles are lengthening. And you even saw that in an increased time between when the halving happened and the massive pump happened in 2017 as opposed to 2013. And so my guess is it's playing out exactly that. I've shared this chart a long time, a bunch. If I look up Brave New, I've covered this one a lot, and I still have all my stuff in here. So of when the halvings happened, right? So here was the first halving. Here was the peak that then followed it, exactly how many days between it. Then here was the second happening, the peak that followed, and there was 526 days. And so the third halving happened, and if you take the increase in time, that would put our pump happening somewhere around late May this year, or the Bitcoin peak. Now, it's not necessarily going to play out exactly like that, but that gives you an indication of these lengthening cycles that the Bitcoin pump hasn't happened yet. Now, how exactly it'll play out, I don't know, because there wasn't so much competition even last cycle with the altcoins between Bitcoin and altcoins. There was some, but altcoins with true use cases were really starting to come out in 2017, though none of them but Ethereum really started to have their use case actually out. There were altcoins that were out, but at the time they were just kind of a promise and a prayer, except for ETH started to have some utility right around the end of 2017. So at least people could see how ETH could be used, though that has continued to evolve and improve since then in the past 4 years. But a lot of these other altcoins are starting to have their use cases roll out, and now they're 4 years into their project, and you're seeing the viability of where this altcoin technology is coming, and that all the different things that can be done with blockchain. So it's not really clear how that competition with Bitcoin for money might go either. So predictions on where Bitcoin could go if we have a blow off top is anywhere between 160,000 up to 300,000. I think what happens though is as Bitcoin hits 100,000, there's a lot of people that have been sitting on the sidelines that finally get in, right? They've been on the sidelines like, oh, I should get some Bitcoin, but they keep not doing it. And then all of a sudden they see it go crazy. So they're like, oh yeah, I'm in, oh man, I just paid 105,000 for my Bitcoin. They go to their friends, how much did you pay? Oh, I paid 88,000 because I bought it before, and and they're, oh, sweet, it's up to 127,000. I'm going to buy some more. And I think that's how it plays out, and it drives it all the way up to that range, somewhere between, I think the top is somewhere between 170 to 180 up to 300,000, depending on how much FOMO there is. Also, as a lot of these bigger nations are starting to create a regulatory environment where institutions can buy Bitcoin, I think we'll see more institutions buying Bitcoin too, which will bring massive funds into there and further drive up Bitcoin's price. All right, we're 47 minutes in already. So let's get to a Wanchain giveaway. And let's see. Rain, any concerns USDT could depeg? So I've asked this question before, but the first person, it was months and months ago, the first person to give us the answer of who is the CEO and founder of Wanchain is going to win this week's giveaway. He's a fantastic gentleman. He came on the show 6 or 7 months ago. I really, really like him. In fact, Wanchain, long before we had a strategic relationship with him, I've been an investor in Wanchain for a couple of years now. So the first person that gives us that answer in here will be our winner. And we still have a Wanchain, because this is actually the giveaway that we were supposed to do Friday and we ran out of time. So we'll still have another giveaway later this week. And the winner gets 125 won, which is trading about 50 cents right now. If you hold on to it, though, I suspect it's going to be much, much better in the coming months. All right. Well, do we give it to Dougie? D, what do you think? He mistyped it, right? I know he meant to put Jack with an
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think Chris Ashby won pretty recently. I think he won last week's, and then Dougie like right after hit Jack Lee.
Yeah,
so yeah,
I think Dougie definitely knew who it was.
I think the Jeopardy the Jeopardy judges would give him it, so I'm gonna do that. Yeah, Doctor Stuff says give it to Dougie. So we'll
okay,
let Talk
Dougie.
be the
we need to make
witness.
sure we have your name. I think we have your Telegram, but just if you'll give us your Telegram, or you'll DM it to, if you'll DM D Money, then we can make sure we get that sent to you. Cool. Doctor of Stuff was talking about USDT shouldn't depeg as it's supposed to be backed 1-to-1 with the dollar. It is supposed to be, but they have settled in order to not have to provide what exactly is backing it, because they had some lawsuits. And so it's concerning. There's some suggestion that it isn't actually concerned. It is supposed to be. Supposed to be is an interesting word, right? Don't we see that? Banks are not supposed to do certain things, but don't we see them paying millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions in fines every year? So supposed to be is an interesting word. Let's get into some news. And this is some cool news. Let me see. I want to share this article with you. This is fascinating. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. You already have seen this. Actually, you saw this some in China and some other countries, where it makes a lot of sense to locate crypto mining right near where energy is often produced, because there's actually a lot of electricity or energy that's lost that can easily be captured if it can be then utilized right away. So Exxon is dealing with greenhouse gas emissions by mining crypto. Now, one of the things that they do is they just vent a lot of the methane that is produced in their procedures, and they have a flute or whatever where they burn it right there. And they're trying to burn it to prevent less of it going into the atmosphere. But actually, they can harvest that in a way that captures the energy behind that and use that to power crypto mining, which is what this big deal is about being done there. The methane is already there. Why not harness it and utilize it? At the time, there wasn't a cost-efficient thing to be doing with harnessing that. And now there is, thanks to Bitcoin, so that they can set it up and have some generators that are running off of that, producing electricity and mining Bitcoin. And that's what this article is about. That's really, really cool. Now, Britain is expected to announce crypto regulatory framework in the next few weeks. The expectation is that it will be friendly to the crypto industry. Looking forward to that. We will see. They are a representative government, and so their politicians do have to get reelected. And it does seem that where politicians have to get reelected, there's a lot of pressure for those politicians to be more crypto friendly. Interesting update here. Coinbase is soon going to require recipient information for crypto transfers from users in Canada, Singapore, and Japan, where things are pretty steep in KYC. And I expect if that goes well there, they'll probably then start requiring it in other countries, which we don't want to have to worry about. That's just extra burden on compliance. When you give cash to somebody, you don't have to put in the recipient information. You write a check, you kind of put the recipient information because they have to be able to deposit it. But we'll see how this goes. Canada's made some interesting steps in the last number of months. Singapore and Japan, especially. Japan has very strict controls, very regulated on any of their businesses, stocks, and other things. So I guess that's not a big surprise coming from them. Rio de Janeiro is going to become the first city in Brazil to accept crypto as payment for taxes. We're seeing more city-state adoption in different ways. Accepting as a payment for taxes is cool. Not as far as where El Salvador has recognized as a legal currency, but definitely a step in the right direction right here. Now, Fidelity has some thoughts on the game theory of countries investing in Bitcoin. They think there's very high stakes game theory at play here, whereby if Bitcoin adoption increases, the countries that secure some Bitcoin today will be far better off competitively than their peers. Therefore, even if other countries do not believe in the investment thesis or adoption of Bitcoin, they're pressured or forced to acquire some as a form of insurance, which is what El Salvador is betting on by being the first, right? And they bought massive amounts of Bitcoin. And they see it. A lot of Central and South American countries have their currencies pegged to the U.S. dollar, and as the U.S. politicians and have in some ways been devaluing the dollar, not just inflation, but true devaluation by printing off massive amounts. So you have more dollars chasing the same amount of goods. That's caused inflation. Not quite to hyperinflation points, but some scary true inflation numbers. And we don't know what the true inflation numbers are. They changed the way inflation was counted in order to give us the numbers that they gave us recently. So what would the numbers really be? Well, if you went back a few decades to how they counted it then, inflation truly is a number somewhere between 15 to 25%, not the 7 and 8% they're talking about. That's a little government trick that they sometimes do and change where the goalposts are so things look better for them. Now, they touch on a really good point here. How is this all going to play out? Well, if their bet is right, El Salvador is going to be a very wealthy nation. And they'll go from one of the poorest countries in the world to supremely wealthy because they'll have massive amounts of Bitcoin, especially if Bitcoin's value goes to some crazy numbers. Now, could Bitcoin's value go there? We're seeing more and more evidence that it's way more trusted than fiat currency. If that continues to go that direction, absolutely its value would go into the millions of dollars per Bitcoin. And isn't that what we're betting on by being here in this space? Do I expect it'll go there? I do. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here in this space. First, I wrapped my mind around what was going on with Bitcoin versus fiat currencies. And it made sense, at least as a store of value against, as opposed to gold. But as I didn't expect that the U.S. would make some of the decisions that they've been making the last couple of years, which has increased the supply of U.S. dollars so drastically, which is devaluing the U.S. dollar faster than the rates that were already happening, which is bringing about why Bitcoin is so valuable, as well as we've seen the countries at war, Ukraine and Russia. And both of those countries have their citizens turning to Bitcoin as a store of value against their currency that's devaluing massively. Does that make sense? Okay, we just have a few minutes left. I wanted to make sure I catch up on the chats. 3 Doritos later asked, raffle to earn access to your Discord, por favor. We are going to work out a giveaway. I'm not sure what it's going to be to give access to the Discord.
Yeah, it's interesting he brings that up. We've been talking about it for the last, about a week we've been talking about it. So it's a really good idea.
We'll probably only do that once. I mean, so it's specifically a paid group for a reason. And the reason is that we want people who understand the value of investing in their own education in themselves. And so the bar is pretty low at the entry level to get in. It's $20 a month. And so that gets you in the door and better access, not just to me, but also to a select number of people who also understand the value of that. And so I shared in the past about when I used to throw these big parties when I was single and had a nice house that was shared with some roommates, had like 3,800 square feet, had an amazing backyard with a nice pool and waterfalls and a slide and a hot tub. And so we'd throw these big parties. And at first I charged nothing for it, but I would get these people that would come and all they would do is complain. And I was like, gosh, I don't want these people to come. So I started charging $20 for the party. And then I used the funds that I got from that. I used it to buy like treats and other things so that we had refreshments there. And all of a sudden, all the whiners and complainers were instantly gone. And so it actually created the kind of party that I wanted, that people could come and network and get to know solid people that understood the value of paying for an event that there was a cost. So it kept out all the whiners and complainers who were whining and complaining, and they got into a party for free. So that's why there's that threshold, and a higher threshold if you want a higher level there. And so I'm open to doing one giveaway, but I want to keep the value there for those that are paying. That was a good idea. One of our viewers had suggested. So as to what the requirement for that giveaway, we will do something. It won't be a raffle. I'll want some knowledge related to that. I want an answer to a hard question. The first person to get it to us, we haven't decided what that question is going to be. So if you're in the audience, are you ready to be a rainmaker? And if so, join what I term as the Navy SEALs of crypto and level up your crypto game. Why the Navy SEALs? Well, Navy SEALs are tenacious. They go through some very hard things. And the truth is, if you're looking to make millions of dollars in the crypto space, trust me, it's going to be harder in some ways than you think. Some ways it'll be easier. My thought is that it's easier than any other way presently to get to millions of dollars. But trust me, it is not easy. And you're going to go through some emotional roller coaster to get there. If you haven't already, consider that all notifications bell and tune in when you see our videos pop up. We do a live stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. We also do a VV live stream on Wednesday evenings at 7:30 p.m. Pacific. And we do often have shorter videos that launch throughout the week. Thanks so much for joining us. We will see you all next time.
Came into the space, chasing all of the games, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, right before you could, was told to buy when it was pouring like a rainmaker should. I buy when it's down, don't chase the post that I miss. Cause I always made the time in mind. I stick the one out cause I'm patient like that, and I'll wait for the right time. I sell when it's high, I buy when it's low. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm just a rainmaker running the show. Calculated investments, I don't lead with my heart. Principles are simple, they're leaving a mark. Why when it's boring, just gotta be smart. I sell when it's hype, like all the channels they pump it. That's when I was selling, got parabolic and dump it. They call me rich, they call me smart. I'm a rainmaker, making my own start. I'm with the future, learning the past. Makes the time fly by, years going so fast. The game plan is mine, I'll own it now. When I reach the top, haters asking me how. Cause I'm a rainmaker, investments I love. And I follow what I learn, not relying on luck. Time is never better, the time like the present. This next 5 years is a gift and it's feeling like heaven. I'm committed to learn, to study and to know that nothing comes easy, but with knowledge the game show. Sticking out this wrong consumer will come a bear market. learning and growing, and when it's slow, it'll be the target. They say it's come out, Bitcoin is dead. The massive decreases can get to your head. Sticking around, the time is better. Strong like that, I'll let the others be fretters. 2 years time, the ball will bring back the gains. That makes it worth the effort, cause here comes the rain. So let's go rainmakers, let's make it all happen. Let go of the hate, let the haters be crapping. I'm here for 5 years, let's do this together. The time is right, the time could be better. They call me